welcome to another episode of George Reviews. Today on George Reviews, I'll be taking a look at Master of the Universe Revelations SkeleGod from the Masterverse line, the latest offering from Mattel and the He-Man Master of the Universe series. Well, this one doesn't have He-Man in the title, and they specifically left that out. I guess so it doesn't have to be focused on He-Man. There's some controversy about that. So this was the first figure I seen when these figures came out. And I was like, who the heck is this guy? It was before I saw the Netflix series or whatever. I figured it was a Skeletor, take on Skeletor. But it was something that we had never quite seen before. We seen a SkeleGod in the 86 movie. Was it 1986? 87? In the live action movie with Dolph Lundgren and Franklin Jella. But I was just like, I didn't like it. I kind of don't like it now. Like when you look at it, it's just like, it makes more sense once you've seen the cartoon. It makes it more acceptable, not more sense. But it was like, I saw it in the store. I was like, yeesh. And then I finally saw Battle Cat, and I grabbed Battle Cat. And then once I got all the other figures that you see me review, I went back and got this guy. Because this guy hangs, Evelyn hangs, and Mossman hangs around near me. And Skeletor and He-Man are pretty much always gone. Battle Cat comes and goes. But this guy, you can always find him at the time I'm shooting this near me. But here is his packaging. Here's SkeleGod within the packaging. And if you don't know, this is a Skeletor powered up with the power of Grayskull. Spoiler! He's packaged in the window box packaging. You can see all of his accessories. He has a nice little pose in that packaging as well. But he has a soft goods cape in there. You can see it flailing around as I move the package. Not much further about the front of the box. The side of the box is some artwork for SkeleGod, and I guess that energy is on his hand. Turn to the back of the box, and definitely for sure now we know that's over with. The energy's on his hand. It's everybody else in the wave. This time, this package includes Battle Cat. I think Battle Cat included everybody. I don't remember. And here is some bio for the guy. If you want to pause and check it out, read it, see a little bit more, or learn a little bit more about this figure. And now I'm going to get SkeleGod open, and man, he is really odd. SkeleGod is odd. So, unpackage him, and there's nothing further in the box. And he's actually tied down. I wonder if it's because of his size. Here is the energy effect. A right and left gripping hand. The power sword. In most incarnations of Master of the Universe, some of the power swords are hard to come by unless you get like a duplicate of battle armor or a different version of He-Man. But we get 2 power swords in the very first wave of Master of the Universe. This is slightly bent. And now for SkeleGod. Alright, after cutting his ties, he is free. A little cape hangs up. I wonder why they always stuff the cape through the back of the box. Oh man, and the cape is actually nice. Look at that. I was not expecting that. I have not watched the review on this figure because I really didn't care about this figure. Like I said, I left it in the store, and probably not a lot of people watching my review. But the back is very impressive. It has some plastic little tassels stuck to the cape. That is pretty cool. Was not expecting this. Multi-layered. That is pretty cool. Alright, here's SkeleGod out of the packaging. I left the hands up just because it's fresh out of the pack. But he's weird. Like the legs were weird out of the packaging. Then the head is kind of plunging forward. And then the top half, it's like he's just leaning a little bit forward. Then the feet are huge. I guess to keep him standing, because Skeletor's feet, the regular Skeletor feet, were huge. I guess it's to balance them. It's kind of obvious that it's to help keep them balanced, because I don't know if they need to be that huge. But okay, here he is. Let's get his arms down. And he's a larger scale figure. I didn't even look at the box. Do it say deluxe? I don't even think it says deluxe. But he's larger. I think he's priced at $10 more. I think he was right at $29.99 when I grabbed him. I believe so. I think Battle Cat was the most at $39.99 in my area. Here, and like I can't, his body won't quite center. He's kind of leaning that way a little bit. I know he's right out of the box, but yeah, got that going on. Huge, massive shoulder pads. And yeah, he's definitely leaning to one side versus the other. So let's take a look at that mug. And it is a different skull piece than Skeletor. I mean, a skull is a skull, right? but it's a different skull piece. The teeth are sharper. The eyes now have dots in them, where Skeletor was just like a blank void. Still has the same type of bone color. He has ram horns jutting out of his head now. And I don't even know, it could be a helmet. He might be able to take the helmet off and just be a skull. He has like a silver crest right here on top of the headpiece. Then he has the translucent fiery neck, which is always cool. Love translucent parts. It would have been cool if they could have worked something into here. And it's both painted and translucent plastic under there. Goes all the way around to the back. It's like a fiery power-up effect. Then, and I'm not sold on this whole deco. Like, why did it get all weird like this? Like, the body has a wash on it, and it's like too much of a wash. I'm really not feeling it. Like, then he has like a harness. I guess when he powered up, he got like a He-Man type thing, the H, sort of, kind of, but it's just on his chest. It doesn't strap around. It's not part of his armor, because he still has armor under here. You can see it. And you can see the wash continue all the way around. It's on the legs, and it just winds up looking dirty as opposed to just like detail. It just looks dirty. Shoulder pads are huge. It's a softer plastic, kind of rubbery. Moves around. I guess you can get the articulation fully out of it. And you can see the paint apps, the green and the silver. Has a split right here. I don't know. It's some type of head or animal or monster. He can ram you like this. I don't know. It's on both sides. And to get a power up, they should have, and I probably need to talk about this a little bit later, but it should have like had a take on his original armor. Coming down to his waist, we get this. I don't even know what that is. It's not even a ram's head or whatever, just some type of evil face or something coming down to the loincloth part with some silver, some black, some purple. Some armor on the sides of his legs. It's a softer piece. He has straps molded into his legs down here and on his arms. I didn't mention his arms. He has straps molded into his arm. They kind of like, I guess, is like part of this armor piece going all the way around. Coming down to his knees, he has that same, no, it's actually a different looking type warrior armor head. I don't even know what it is. And what does it relate to him, Gray Skull, or whatever? Like, it's just, it's like, let's do this. And that is it. And then the boot, I think it's a whole separate piece. And then he has these giant armor feet. You can see like the layers of armor. It's kind of cool, but the feet are big, and I guess it's to keep his big top half up. These gigantic arms here are the gauntlets. The same like face appears on the gauntlets, and it appears to be a separate piece. They can like swivel all the way around. Might be a pain when it starts to get loose. And the hands have that little armor detailing on them as well. And I love the little grip. It's kind of cool. You know, it's kind of sinister. It goes like with him. I do like that. So yeah, that's Skeletor right here. So let's run down this articulation. That head with the ram horns can look up and down and 360 despite the horns and the flame effect on the back of the neck. So that is cool. We get some side to side for different expressions. You dare challenge Skeletor. So that is cool. The shoulder 360s. The armor moves out of the way so you can get pretty much what you want out of it. Get his hand up in the air, and it's not really hindered by it. I mean, it's there, but that's cool. Bicep swivel, double hinge elbow, and there's so much going on. Yep, we got it though. We got the elbow to double hinge. 360 at the wrist. It's the same bulk on these guys. The hinge in there comes in this far, and the hand is softer, which is, I guess, because it's bigger. They don't want anybody to get hurt, but it's softer than the regular hands. And that gauntlet is rolling and turning just like I thought it would. His upper torso articulation is the same as all the other figures. He can get the motions out of it that you would expect. And all the other figures get in this line. Waist for 360. There's nothing hindering that. Look at my butt. And it comes back around to the front. And for the side to side of the legs, he gets a full motion out of that. The skirt pieces are really soft. It does not hinder it at all. Get his leg up to the front. Same thing, but it's kind of pushing it back down a little bit. And to the back. And he has the big old butt that won't allow the leg to come that far back. Not much at all. Like, that's it. I guess, well, you can get it out to the side and get it up higher. But straight back is not going straight back. And then, man, that wash is just bothering me. It's just too much. It really is too much. Upper thigh swivel right there, 360. Double hinge knee. They do a good job of blending the knee in when he's in a standard anatomical standing up position on these figures. And then the top hinge is always tight and doesn't want to move for me. Let's try this knee. Yep, it's froze. All right, I had to adjust my hands moving from around the camera to get it. And then when it breaks up, you see where the wash isn't. Like, ah! But he can get it back that far. Now that's really good. And then the boot cut, well hidden right there. And it spins around. And coming to his ankle, we have that. And like these figures really don't have much of a rocker. I'm getting that out of it. Some figures, I don't know whether or not it's froze or not. Or just not moving or not there. That's the rundown on SkeleGod's articulation. I know I looked at his cape, but we'll go back over that. It's multi-layered. I'm pretty sure it's just on his shoulder. It has a little plastic piece right here. I don't know if that's the keep. Oh, that keeps it on, eh? Okay, the cape came off for a second. I thought maybe it might be magnetized, but it's not. I think the metal pieces in the hinge just slot and catch right here. Yeah, but I thought maybe it was magnetized, but that's just plastic. But it's cool nonetheless. You don't have to take everything off to get the cape off. So if you want to, you can just easy peasy and got the cape off, and he could just be SkeleGod like this. But it's funny, since they did the live action movie, everyone wants Skeletor to have a cape, and I'm pretty much cool without it. Don't need it. Right. Moving on to SkeleGod's accessories, I'm gonna go back to the energy blast and see if we can get it over the open fist or open palm hand. See if that works before I change the hands out. And that one little thumb, though. A couple little things are not trying to go in there at the same time. There we go. You can get it over the open hand. So other than grabbing something, which I don't know if he can hold his sword, you kind of don't need to take the other hands off. So that's the blast effect. Did we see him use the blast effect? And I don't think we've seen him use it yet. It might be coming. So let's get this hand off. And I'm sure the gauntlet slides off. If you don't like the big gaudy gauntlets, here it is. But that slides off. Kind of wish they had glued them in place. You know, I guess I could do it myself, but because that little rotation is starting to bother me. And let's get his gripping hand. Can he hold this? I'm gonna go for it right now. So you can hold the sword. And the length of the fingers, do I just jam it in the hole and go for it that way? Yeah. Okay. Well, he can hold the sword. I thought the hole would be too big. Okay, got the sword in his hand, and like I feared, the gauntlets, they're a little loose and like to move around, which is kind of annoying. But here he is holding a power sword. I got to kind of get him back to get the full figure, the sword blade, all in the same shot. Looks pretty good. I was kind of skeptical with those hands, but yeah, he holds it just fine. All right, I got to admit, he's a pretty cool figure with a few little things I didn't expect on this guy. Biggest problem I'm having with the stylization is I just don't see how it just translated from this. Like if you expand it upon what this guy is and how it turns into this, like his skin got dirty or whatever from the power up. I guess maybe he might be corrupted by it or because he's evil or something. But he transformed from this to this because he doesn't even have that type of loincloth. You know, he has like these little tassel pieces and then it just went to a loincloth. Like that didn't make sense. The boot transformation in the feet, like all of a sudden he's wearing boots. I guess it just armored him to make him that stronger. But the toy, there's no problem with the actual toy. It's just, I'm just wondering what process went to convert this from this. Like where did we get the blues from? Like where did he get the blue straps? Like why aren't they purple? And the same thing with the boots. Like, why did that totally change color? And I know He-Man completely changes from what he is, but maybe that's what it is. Like, whoever, you just get the cloth. And, like, the loincloth is like the He-Man power-up. But He-Man doesn't have this armor. Like, again, like, I'm just, where does that translate from? And for all those who saw the cartoon, we finally get to see Skeletor raise the power sword and transform like he just never did in the original series. I don't ever think he ever did in a mini comic, but he actually got his hands on it and transformed in the very first season of the series. So
SkeleGod.
hopefully, take a look at the faces, them closer, and I say they didn't reuse the face. For some reason, the actual skull got smaller during the transformation. But yeah, here are your Skeletors from the new Master Universe Revelation line. Alright, before I move on, let's see if I can get some of this stuff off of him. I'm going to pop his head. Pops off pretty easy. He has a bright green neck peg that is molded in green plastic. And pull up this armor piece. So yeah, you can do some posing and changing around. The flame piece comes off. That's nice. Cape comes off, and the armor straps are like the vintage straps. It has 2 double straps, which is nice. And I can't get the straps off. All right, I'm stuck. Like it's hard getting this notch through here, and so I'm gonna leave it like it is, because basically when you take it off, you still see that you got the whole bare chest right here. So I'm just not going to break it down any further, because I think if it's a pain to take out, be a pain to get back in, even though it's like the grooves are different. But yeah, it comes off. All right, I got the armor back on SkeleGod, and now I'm going to give him the size up and the rundown. Here he is with the God of Thunder, and you already know where I'm going with this. Here he is with the God of War, God Neptune, the new God, Super Saiyan God, last one, God Jinrai. Alright, I hope you enjoyed that godly size up and rundown. I think everybody has always wondered what would happen if Skeletor got the power of Grayskull. If he held up the sword and said, by the power of Grayskull. This figure in this new Netflix series answers that question. But is this figure what we all expected or wanted? Like, if this was in another toy line and made by different people, I'd be like, that's a pretty cool looking toy with the shoulder pads and the huge gauntlets and the translucent parts, because it is a cool toy. It's just not what I had hoped God Skeletor would be. And that doesn't make it bad. It's just not what I wanted. I don't love it. And speaking of God Skeletor, I'm going to bring out the original God Skeletor that we saw in the 1980s movie. I can't remember what year that dang old movie came out. And this was produced by Super 7. This is one of the figures that once said that would never ever be made, can never be made, because of multi-licensing issues back and forth with Mattel and the owners of the movie property. But this is the original God Skeletor from that movie. He's decked out in all gold. So the God Skeletor isn't a new concept, and this was the first time he got the power of Grayskull in the movie. And we saw that didn't last long. So I'm wondering how long the power of Grayskull would last for this guy. And speaking of the power of Grayskull lasting for him, he doesn't have any place to sheathe the sword. So if Skeletor is going to have the power for a while, where does he keep the sword? He could have had something here or here. Does he like store it in a chamber or something like that? Because there's no place. He's either holding it or, I'm tired of this thing. And like, he's got to put it down. Maybe Evil Lyn will hold it. I don't know, Beastman. But they didn't give him any place to sheath the sword. Maybe they didn't think that far. And maybe it's a sign that he won't even have the power that long. But I don't know. It would have been nice if he had some place to put the sword. But the final thoughts overall on this figure. As a toy, a standalone toy, it looks good. It functions well. The problems that I have with it, the hands pop off kind of easily when you're adding weapons in and out of his hand. And speaking of weapons, I did not try to add the Havoc Staff. Go for that right now. And he holds the Havoc Staff just fine. And I don't know what happened to the Havoc Staff once he transformed. It was just gone. I don't know. Anything, maybe put it down. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I think he put it down to transform. Maybe he's beyond the Havoc Staff. Maybe the Havoc Staff was actually incorporated into his body, and that's what that represents on his head. I don't know. It is a good figure as far as just being a standalone toy. It just wasn't what I was hoping for or would have wanted to see if Skeletor actually got the power and transformed. Like, I don't get this. I guess it's supposed to be like the H to He-Man. Like right here, and this is like the corrupted evil version You know, it's green maybe because of the green power, and the purple because he once wore a purple harness. Maybe this is the remainder of the purple harness that our regular Skeletor has on. Maybe it's a mixture of the two, I guess. But the design I just don't get. But that doesn't make it a bad toy because I don't get it. All right, but I do like the cape. I think the cape is awesome. It was a pleasant surprise to see all this detail in the cape and multi-layer pieces. That was pretty cool. It's better than Skeletor's cape, the regular standard Skeletor's cape. I even like this little power punch effect. Hi, you get. I like the translucent parts on this guy, but it's just a few things. I just question the direction of this. Maybe it'll make more sense if I see more episodes and they'll tell a story to kind of make sense of the armor and the reason behind it. Maybe there's a history behind it. When somebody gets to the bad sword, maybe we'll see, like we saw Preternia is their heaven. Maybe we might see their hell, and this might have some significance. I guess we did. We saw the underworld. SkeleGod was in the underworld, but nah, I don't know. And maybe the green glow is like from like SkeleGod when he was in the underworld, when he went to the underworld. Maybe that's where like it's like a necro type thing or whatever. This is the bad side and He-Man is the good side. So I don't know. Anyway, it's a pretty good figure overall. I'm just not a fan of the look. And with that, I want to thank everybody for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story. And I don't know if I can recommend this guy.